welcome back to my channel. Let's dive right in, guys. I've got a new gel plate video for you. I am just getting some of the paint off of this gel plate, and I also am showing you next the type of paper that I'm using in this video. So I got a couple packs of these biggie, sketching paper. It's Canson sketching pads. I got 2 of those as like a combo deal whenever I bought a piece of furniture from someone on Facebook Marketplace. They were a fellow artist. So today I am showing you guys some stencils that I got from PM Artist Studio. If you're not familiar with them, I'd be a little surprised if you haven't stumbled across them yet on YouTube, because they are a mother-daughter duo who is sharing a lot of different gel plate techniques, and they also sell stencils. So they sent me this wonderful goodie pack here with different stencils and some of their little artwork in here. There's really cool texture on that. So I picked out a couple of my favorite stencils from them, and in today's video I am showing you guys the different stencils that I got and how I used them. And then you'll probably see them more in the future as I continue to use these stencils. Their stencils are made with Yupo, which that's how I say it. I normally say Yupo paper, but I did want to be careful to say that when you say paper, it sounds like it may not be a very durable material, but it's more of a plastic. So if you haven't used it, I highly recommend it. And there is the code that you guys can use if you are purchasing any stencils from them, GenFan10. And I will have a link to their website where you can go shop for your own stencils from them, and you can use that code for 10% off. I will also link their YouTube channel so you can head over there and see their videos and get to know them more. They also have a really great Facebook page. So if you are also on Facebook, you could join their Facebook page and share with other artists. So I had a couple different stencils there, a mask, and then that small stencil, and I will have all of the names of those particular stencils and the links to them directly on their site. And again, here's their information. They're on Instagram, on YouTube, Facebook, and that's their website as well. So at the beginning here, I'm just going to quickly go through and sort of create some background colors, just getting some paint on the paper. This is also a really great way to warm up. And honestly, the gel plate or the gel printing experience is sort of a way that I like to warm up in my creative process. And if you don't have a lot of time to create, if you don't have like big sections of time to create all at once, then sometimes this is the creating time that I get, and I have nothing against that. Just sitting or standing and playing with the paint, moving around my gel plate, combining different colors, to me that is enough. That is a successful day for me, and it is really such a wonderful creative process, and I enjoy that. Just even then with like different little bits of paint that hangs out on the gel plate and then it picks back up in another pull. That's one of my favorite things about the gel plate. You'll notice that this is my larger plate. This is by the brand Gel Press, and this is a 12 by 14 gel plate. If you don't have this size gel plate yet, I highly recommend it. And I have a couple videos where I'm showing when I first used this gel plate. I will link to that in the description below. See that one there has lots of different colors, and the edges, the paint that was around the edges, peeled off on that one, so there's a really cool border. So another thing you're going to notice in this, probably in the beginning of this video, is the types of paints that I'm using. Because I do often love to use more fluid acrylics, and some of these are really old, these Basics brand paints, because another little challenge I gave myself in this painting session was that I really wanted to start using some of my older paints, and I got a lot of brown paint down on that one on accident. So here I am, I'm starting to use these stencils, but what I was saying about the paints was that I was trying to challenge myself to use some of my older paints, because some of you might be like me, and comment below if you are also like this. It is fun to buy new paints. So I have a lot of paints, and I never shy away from buying, different brands, different colors, and I'm always experimenting. But then sometimes what happens is I have my older paints just kind of hanging out, and they're not getting used. And so in 2023, I am really trying to use up my old paints. And I know the things that I love, and I'm going to keep buying them when I need more of that particular color, but I also want to use up what I have. So there you saw me say that I want to let that layer dry because I want that pattern to show up in my next pull. And so in this video today, you're also going to notice that I am bouncing around between multiple gel plates. And if you don't have multiple plates and multiple sizes, that is fine. What you're going to do is let those layers dry and then come back to it. But for the sake of showing you all more things in one video, and because I'm a little bit impatient, I like to bounce around between multiple plates. That green metallic paint is one of my favorite. I really love this stencil as well. You'll see me go back to this stencil over and over again, and I can tell that this stencil is going to be one that I continually return to. So that one on the left there is an 8x10. The one on the right is a 6x6. And occasionally, just like then, with that paint that I'm using, you can tell it's a little bit older. It's not as smooth, it's a little sticky, so I'm not loving the paint and how it's going on the gel plate, but again, I'm just really trying to use up some of these old paints. But eventually, I can't remember what minute marker it's at, eventually you are going to notice in this video that I'm going to start swapping back to some of my fluid acrylics because I'm getting a little frustrated with that limitation. Alright, so this is nice and dry, and now I am adding a layer of paint. One of my favorite Lucas brands, Arctic, is that color. And now my hope is that a lot of that will pull up because I have put that wet layer of paint on top of the dry layer of paint. And there it is. Also love that stencil, and if you guys noticed, I flipped it around and sort of used it twice. The one side is I'm only using like the leftover paint. Several of you have commented this before. You'll notice in my painting sessions, I kind of just like go for it and love to try to mix different colors and layer up different things. There are a lot of times that I like the layers that are happening as a finished artwork. They're not always going to be like collage paper. But sometimes if they're at a place where I know they're not what I would consider a finished piece of artwork, then they can become collage paper. So nothing is wasted, in my opinion. Alright, back to our 8x10. Layering back up with that. More metallics. I get on a roll here with some of the golds and with these patterns on the stencils, and it really reminds me of the artist Gustav Klimt. I'm hoping you guys notice that as well. And I'm really loving just when there's just like a little hint of that metallic from that stencil. I really like that. And on this mask here, loving the way that these little lines repeat and create this little grid. And of course there are times where I'm thinking and moving things around, but I do try to edit a lot of that out for you guys so that um, I'm hoping that things seem a little more seamless as you're watching my edited videos. I cut out a lot of the in-between time, brayer time, and the time when I am like pressing the paper down on the plate. Also, I did forget to mention that this paper was that biggie paper cut in half. Cut or ripped. I can't really remember. I can't remember. But it is cut in half. And so it's never like fully fitting on to any of the gel plates that I have. But again, that doesn't bother me either. I'm just kind of bouncing around and using the paint all over the paper however it inspires me. Or you keep seeing me flip back and looking at my paper, and I'm kind of just thinking of that compositionally, like where could I add more blue, where could I add more flesh color. And again, I don't think that one's going to end up being like a finished piece of artwork, but even just collaging it around, I'm thinking about how I can add colors in different areas and do different things to the page as a whole. This one turned out really interesting, and I like how you can see multiple different stencils in different areas. These are also some of my favorite colors all combined. And I'm not sure I can get through any session with adding in like fluorescent pink. So here you notice I'm not using one of their stencils. Again, I don't always do well with really strict limitations in my painting session. I'll end up seeing something else that I want to add in. So I used a piece of cardboard to create these stripes. And love that. A lot of my most recent videos, if you look at any of my YouTube shorts or Instagram reels, you'll see me using that cardboard a lot recently. And my plan, I don't have it filmed yet, but I have a huge pile of recycled materials in my workspace right now that I plan on making one whole video using just recycled materials or things that might have gone in the trash can. And so that is going to be coming up where I have one whole YouTube video with just all recycled materials in the hope that it inspires you all to look at your trash and your recycled materials in a different way. and start hoarding all that stuff just like I do so that you can use it on your gel plate. And I would typically have this taped down, so I apologize that that is moving around. But like I said, I'm bouncing around between multiple gel plates, and I didn't want to sit and tape and untape as I moved around. Alright, so here we are, my absolute fave on the gel plate, the golden fluid acrylics. So I knew I couldn't go the whole session without using those. And you might be thinking, like, how are you adding even more on that piece of paper, Jennifer? But I did. And I did recently have someone else say, I like how you are showing us the whole process, like even the pieces that you don't like, and or even the pieces that don't turn out the way that you think they will. I mean, there's just no way that I am ever going to sit down to one of these really long paint sessions and like every single thing that I make. But I am looking at this as an opportunity to play and experiment, and then I can learn from that and possibly repeat that, and maybe you never will repeat it again. But I love the unexpected things that happen too. You'll notice there I was kind of swirling the paint around on the plate and then rolling back and forth. Play around with your brayer, you guys. Figure out the best way that you like mixing the paint or moving it around the plate. Going back and forth is not the only option. I also have an entire video. I will link that, and I'll link it up to the top here and down in the description. But I have an entire video where I go over different brayers and different ways to use a brayer on a gel plate to get tons of different painting techniques. So maybe you don't have stencils yet and you have a brayer. Watch that and just see all the different possibilities of different ways you can put the paint down or move the paint around and pull different patterns and textures. I loved the way that the little gold flecks were in that blue over in the corner. And this is when, in the painting process, I was thinking of the artist Klimt and the way he uses gold, and I just kind of I was kind of just running with that metallic vibe and having fun with it. I do like taking that mask and bouncing it all around and using it in different areas to get that pattern all around the gel plate. And no stencil there, but just really fun, different layers of paint. It reminds me of this picture I just took in San Antonio of this really cool, like, textured wall. You'll notice that I kind of hug the edges, like push around to the side. I'm trying to get as much paint on there as I can, even all the way around to the edges. You can tell I'm thinking there. I'm looking at the artwork, thinking about the paint, thinking about what I want to do next. Pushing really hard there to try to pull up as much of that gold as I can. And you can kind of see some of the spots through there. And so this is one of those moments where I don't fully move all the paint around on the brayer. I just let it be like some of these like almost like spots or marks. And then I go ahead and press that. So I'm not spreading all of the paint around the brayer. And that's what I was kind of referring to earlier in that brayer video and how to experiment with your brayer. And again, if you are ripping this up and using just part of this for collage, then I kind of like that there's like little bits of like purple, gold, blue, gold, green, you know, and there's all these different things that could end up being on one smaller section of that. Alright, so don't forget I have the stencil links and the promo code down in the description. And here's a glance at the stencils all dirty and covered in paint after a fun painting session. And then I'm going to take you guys through each collage paper that I created today. Oh, there's my cardboard piece. Oh, and don't forget that oftentimes the little sketchbook that I have to the right of me, where I take the excess paint off my brayer, that is often sometimes one of my favorite parts. And I'm filling that sketchbook up full of brayer marks. So my hope is that one day I have this big, gorgeous sketchbook full of paint, and I get to do a video where I flip through and show you all of those painted pages. So I would love to know if any of these stencils are jumping out at you. Are there any that you must have? Which stencil do you see on their website that you want to get next? Or do you think I should get next? Because I saw some really cool ones when I was over on their website recently and chatting with them about that promo code. And which of these collage pages is your favorite? You guys are always so kind, and I appreciate you watching. Thank you for all of your comments. Thank you for following along on my page. If you're not following me yet, I would love it if you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications. I'm also over on Instagram and Pinterest and Facebook, and my website is the same name everywhere, Jennifer Tobin Art or jennifertobinart.com. And if you have any other video ideas that you'd like to send my way, let me know in the comments. Another thing that I add in the description of every video is a link to all the supplies and my favorite supplies that I'm using in each video. And some of those are affiliate links, which means that at no extra charge to you, I am getting a small commission when you make those purchases based on my recommendation. It's just another great way that you can help support small business owners and artists as they're recommending supplies to you that they have already tried and that you know that someone already loves. So if you are shopping from the links in my description, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And I hope you guys head over to PM Artist Studio on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Check them out and their stencils. I want to give them a big thank you, Patricia and Mariah, for sending me these stencils so that I could experiment with them and keep using them in the future because they are really great. I love the designs, and I can tell that this Yupo paper will really hold up. It seems really sturdy and easy to work with. So thanks to them again, and I hope you guys all check out their stencils and let me know what you think. And thanks again, you guys. Have a great day. Thanks for being here and happy creating.